Helen Yee here in Anaheim. Always great to be joined by the one and only Mr. Beneil Dariush. Great to see you.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming all the way out here for me.
Yeah, well, we always love seeing you, but today was extra special because, well, the Schmo, he's going to bring it in. I watched you and the Schmo, actually more you than the Schmo, cook. He did try, but you made your homemade lamb chops.
That's right. These are homemade. The seasoning is a bit of a secret. The only thing I not happy about, it didn't get to marinate for 24 hours. So it won't be my best work, but you still get to try it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel bad. You should eat one too.
All right. I'll grab one too.
Wow, this is really good. No, I'm serious. Like, this is really good. Better than my dad's. My dad used to make them.
Don't say that on camera. He's gonna be mad at me.
Sorry, Dad. It's okay. He got thick skin.
Okay, I should have grabbed it. I should have took a smaller bite. That was. I'm gonna need a second.
It's all good. The fans, they don't judge.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure the fans are actually the most judgmental people you can find online. But anyways,
Wow.
Shmo, take these away from me before I ruin this interview with just eating with my lamb.
Wow.
If I take another bite, I'm in trouble.
That seasoning is really good.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Special recipe.
There's some special stuff in there. I think what really helps, because a lot of people who eat lamb, it's super gamey and they don't actually get the flavor of it. So rosemary really helps with that, and obviously olive oil, but and oregano, and that stuff just kind of pulls it out. And then to enhance the flavor, garlic.
I was going to say, like, I went from hungry, then I tried it, now I'm extra hungry.
Yeah.
It's good.
And again, like I said, it needs to be marinated well. I do like wine. First, I start with wine. I let it marinate in the wine so that absorbs.
Yeah.
And then you start to add everything else. And you have to do it in a certain way with the layers, because if you, for example, a lot of people don't like salty, like super salty food. So I make sure I do salt, and then I layer the olive oil, so that way it takes off some of the salt.
Yeah.
Because, again, people don't like salty like I do. So then I can add everything else. So it's like a layers process, and if you don't do it right, it comes out too salty.
Chef Beneil, so do you cook every day?
I do not. My wife actually cooks for me, but she started to cook for me, which is awesome.
Shout out Victoria.
That's right. Shout out to Victoria. But I like to barbecue. I like to make briskets, steaks. I like lamb chops. I'll do tri-tip. I like the beef ribs. Anything barbecue, I'll try. Yeah. And typically I have good results. I've made some mistakes before, but overall, the good results. I made one bad brisket, and I still haven't heard the end of it to this day. Victoria, I can make, for the rest of my life, I can make nothing but tens, and she'll always remind me of that one.
Wait, so, I mean, what can you say? But what's considered like bad? Is it just burnt or overcooked?
It was burnt. I didn't have a good system as far as timing it. And then I couldn't turn off the heat in time, and it was just burnt. And then I didn't wrap it well. The brisket, it's not a lot of steps, but if you miss the timing on the steps, it ruins it. And I missed it by a big margin. So done.
Well, I have to say your lamb chops, so 10 out of 10. And definitely after this interview, I'm for sure finishing that plate, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I mean, that's why they're made, to be. I want to make sure everybody eats those. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. But I have to say though, and I have to ask you, I watched you and the Schmo, chop them. How would you grade the Schmo's chopping skills?
Okay, he started at like a 2, and he worked his way up to what, like a 7 or an 8. At the end, we were almost at the same pace, but he definitely didn't have a good start.
He needed a warm up.
Yeah, here, buddy, go. Exactly, he needed a warm up. He did good.
I know you guys just did a great interview, and he talked about possibly your upcoming fight, maybe in December against Arman Sarukian, right?
Yeah, we're still figuring out the dates and location and all that good stuff. But That's what I've been told. It's going to be in December. That's all I really know, and I know my opponent.
He discussed a lot about the upcoming fight, Islam versus Charles at UFC 294. But you're a great analyst. And another great fight on that card, Paulo Costa, Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, I don't see Paulo Costa winning this fight. I see Khamzat fight, and typically he's a great fighter. I mean, he had a really hard time with Dariush, but that's because Dariush really is the nemesis to his style. He can bang, and he can defend takedowns, and if he gets taken down, you can't hold him. I don't think Casa has as good of jiu-jitsu to negate what Hamzat does, and even striking. I think Hamzat has pretty good striking. I don't see where the fight really favors Boachina. Even in size, I'm not sure if he's got size on him.
Well, a lot of people are now wondering, since we have a new UFC middleweight champion in Sean Strickland, who he would defend his title against first. Do you think it should be the winner between Paulo Hamzat? Should it be an Izzy rematch like Dricus Duplessis? What do you think?
In my opinion, it should be Duplessis. And that's my opinion, but here's what I think is going to happen. Adesanya will have first shots at him, and if Adesanya doesn't want to fight at the time that they give him, they'll move on. And I think if Hamzat's ready, they'll probably pick Hamzat before Duplessis, which I don't agree with. I think he should get it first, but that's just the way I think they're going to run that. But yeah, that's the way I see it. And man, good job, Sean. He looked good out there.
Yeah. Did that surprise you at all?
So yes and no. Because I've seen Sean train and I've seen him spar a lot, surprisingly. And I thought if Sean could get past the feints and the kicks, he would be the better inside boxer. He's very good in the pocket. He's really hard to deal with. He's not afraid. He's got that weird style, but he's really good at defending straight punches. He struggles a little bit more with hooks, but because of his length, it's actually pretty hard to hit him with hooks. So I knew he had a advantage in the inside boxing. I didn't think he was gonna win. I'll be honest. I thought Adesanya was gonna win, but man, he surprised the hell out of me, and I'm glad. Sean used to come and train with us all the time, especially during COVID time where all the gyms were shut down. He would come in and he would beat up a bunch of my like young wrestlers. These guys were in high school and they had either recently graduated or they were just in high school, and he'd just come in and he would beat up a bunch of little teenagers, and then. And then like drive off, and everybody like, who the hell is this guy? So it was fun. I'm waiting to see him in person and be like, hey, the only reason you beat Adesanya is because I let you build your confidence up by beating up teenagers. So yeah, so Sean, you owe me one. Anyways,
did he drive off in his Hyundai accent?
Shoot, no, I think he had. Did he have? No, he didn't have his motorcycle. This was after his accident. He might have either had he might have had a new motorcycle or it was a truck. I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't high end is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
That's awesome. One fight in December that just got made in the lightweight division: Paddy Pimblett, Tony Ferguson. How do you like that matchup?
Personally, I don't love it. I'm at the point where when I see Tony fight, I think he should probably call it quits, but that's Tony's decision, right? No one can tell him what to do. But if we're talking about winnable, I think it's winnable for him. I think Tony could definitely win this fight, but Paddy's not an easy fight. So what Tony has to do is be sharp with his jiu-jitsu and be sharp with his striking. And I think he normally does one or the other. He doesn't do both for some reason.
If Tony gets that win, what do you think it does for him and just like this fight overall?
Shoot, if Tony wins, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know, because it's not fair to toss him back into the top 10 division. It's rough out there for him. And then who else can you throw at him that's going to give him, it's going to have that much hype on it? It's a really tough situation. I know he wants to fight Conor, which actually would make sense. That's a fight that Conor can win. Tony has a big name. It makes sense. So that's something I guess that would work.
But on the flip side, for Paddy, what do you think a win over Tony would do for him?
I mean, Paddy right now, they're just trying to get his name out even more. They want to build this kid up. So what's going to happen when Paddy wins? They're just going to, raise his name even higher and boast him up. And that's kind of be the game they're going to play with him. He's really popular, and they want to continue to push that. They're hoping he continues to develop where he can sell pay-per-views even if he's not a champion. And I think he's actually there. He's at a point where he could sell pay-per-views. People will watch. So I think that's their goal. By put him against someone like Tony Ferguson, he beats Tony, he becomes even a bigger name. He can be like a pay-per-view star without having a belt.
And lastly, I know you love your board games and you also love challenging the schmo at board games.
Boy.
Do you have any new favorites lately?
Monopoly's my all-time favorite, and I think the schmo agrees with me on that. But the boys have been playing one called Avalon, and
What's that about?
it's very similar to Secret Hitler, but I'm 50-50 on it. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, let's just put it that way where the lamb chops, they're the 10 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. Lamb chops are like my Monopoly. They're my favorite.
And for all the fans who love you and can't wait to see more from you and hopefully watch you fight in December, what would you like to let them know?
Man, coming back as hard as I can. I'm doing everything I can to be victorious. Had a little hiccup, speed bump, whatever you want to call it, but nothing's changed. My goal is to be the best in the world, and going to continue to pursue that. And I appreciate everybody supporting me.
And just so you know, I'll wash the dishes after I eat.
I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting that, but I'm sure the schmo appreciates that too.